A rubber ducky is what I saw, Pisces, when I picked up the energy behind your cards for this week's reading. And then I also saw a horse. So putting all that together with your cards, we've got the Page of Pentacles. There is a lot of childhood stuff coming up for you guys this week, like stuff from early childhood, like when you were a baby, okay? Maybe feelings, maybe trauma, and I am getting the sense of memories too with the Four of Cups. They could be suppressed memories or memories that are coming up, because Six of Pentacles is something that's now being like processed or worked with. It's an exchange. So I think this is an exchange from your subconscious to your conscious memory as you guys are processing some childhood memories. Let's look at the bottom card. We've got the Three of Swords reversed. Trauma, right? This is stuff that you guys haven't gotten over yet, the trauma you guys haven't gotten over. Let's go ahead and pull some oracle cards and find out some more information. Tell me more here about Pisces. Now, this could also just be you guys, maybe you're a parent and you got like a young kid, like a baby, and the rubber ducky thing is just confirmation for you that, this is a theme for you. You got young kids. Okay, so now we have the number 0 coming out with the bed and Taurus. The bed definitely is again talking about subconscious stuff. It's like stuff that you have had you've been slow to process over the years is coming up. And I say slow because Taurus also is very slow. That is like kind of what Taurus is all about, is like slow and steady wins the race. That's Taurus. But in this case, I don't think there's been any steady. It's just been slow to process memories and trauma that's surfacing now. And I don't even think you guys have any choice about it. It's almost like these are things that are being triggered through random events. The 0 can have a sense of whimsy, right? It's full energy. So there could be some whimsy happening that brings up these traumatic events. Just random circumstances around you are bringing up these traumatic events that you've been slow to process. And then let's take a look at the bottom card. The bottom card is the Crown, which is really interesting. Oh, shit. The bottom card is the Crown with Pluto. And so this is now talking about the trauma. What exactly is it that the memories that you've been traumatized by? And it's memories of being oppressed, like having a tyrant, someone tell you what to do, basically. Like maybe when you guys were a kid, you didn't get a lot of opportunity for freedom, flexibility, creativity, to do the things that you needed to do because there was a tyrant. Someone who basically was like, this is my house, so you do things my way. That's the type of person you had to deal with. That's the kind of energy you had to deal with. That's the kind of trauma that you got that's coming up now. That's tied to that, and it's being triggered by random external events. Okay, let's pull some advice. See where this is going. See if we can get some advice for you on how to process this stuff. Yeah, let's see. Any advice here for my Pisces signs, please? Any advice? Oh, gee. Okay, so we've got 2 cards coming out. One of them makes perfect sense, and that's the Six of Cups, and because that's all about family. That is all about family and also like nostalgia, the good times. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So I'm gonna have to feel out the energy behind the Knight of Pentacles. It's kind of in a weird spot. Give me a second. Okay, so what I picked up was grass, tall grass, or like wheat. Okay, and wheat is very similar to what's in the picture. There's probably wheat in this picture because the Knight of Pentacles is all about stability and also like protecting your fields so they can grow. And so this is talking about the advice is talking about thinking back to the good times. And amidst all this trauma, there isn't only bad times in the past. And that's what you guys are like processing, and I think you guys are dwelling on the bad times. There's actually a lot of good times in the past where things were stable, there was a lot of food, there was abundance, and there actually is something here to be said for that very same person who is the tyrant, who didn't give you the flexibility, who was oppressive. That very same person provided. That very same person was the person who provided the wheat to make the bread, and there are some good times attached to that too. So it's not all bad. This feeling of being oppressed and not having any options in your childhood that's tied to the trauma, it's not all bad. It's just that the trauma is being unpacked, and the trauma got packed, into your subconscious, but the good times didn't have to get packed into the subconscious. And so what you're unpacking is just the bad stuff. Let's see what we get for advice from the Oracle card. Any other advice here for Pisces, please? All right, now we got the Ship coming out reversed, and then the Mask of the number 6. There's a sense of being at a distance, that's the Ship, especially reversed here, but in this case, it's in time. So it's like the trauma, right? It's such a long time ago that things have changed since then. And at that time, which was a long time ago, things were different. And maybe the actions of this tyrant were not that inappropriate. Were not that inappropriate for the times. Because we've got the number 6, which is a number for harmony, and then the mask, which is a number for doing what is obvious to everyone. So this person might be looked at now as somebody who was like a tyrant, or somebody who didn't, who oppressed people, whatever. But back then, they would have just been the norm. Basically, they would have been the norm. The number 6 with the mask here is someone who's just trying to do the right thing based on the norm of the times, which is no longer connected to the present, right? So that's what why the ship is here. So, as you process this trauma and as you kind of unpack and you look at the worst of it, you have to keep in mind the context of the time period for which you're looking back on, and keep that in mind while you're processing, because I think that will shed a little extra perspective that might be needed because of how much time has gone by and how, I don't want to say distorted, but how biased those memories are going to end up being. They're going to end up being biased memories. All right, let's see if there's, I'm still not happy with this. Let's pull one more card from the tarot and see if anything else comes out for you guys. Any last messages or advice here? Yeah, so I immediately saw the treasure chest card. So like I said, it's like the provider. This person was the provider. There's a reason why they were acted this way, and now we have even a little bit more insight into the reasons why they acted the way they acted, which is the Moon and the Ten of Swords. They were just afraid that if they didn't have control or do things the way they did, things were going to go to shit, and they wouldn't be able to provide for the family. They wouldn't be able to. So if this is your father, right? This doesn't have to be this way, but this would be kind of how this would fit for me. Is like, if your father was very oppressive, he didn't give you any room to spare. Maybe he forced you to work at an early age, but it's all because he was very concerned for your own well-being, the well-being of the family. From a fear-based perspective, he was very fearful that you wouldn't be able to provide for yourself, that the family would go poor, something bad would happen. So that's where this person was coming from, which was probably the norm for the times. And so that's the way they acted, the way they did. And I think that's going to be it. That's going to be your reading, guys. I hope you guys got something out of it. Pisces, if you want to know more about what's going on with your sign, you can always check out Patreon. I've got some extra stuff there for you. And the links are below and also on my profile. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.